Hi, I'm Sam, your resident fantasy reader,
And I'm Morgan, your romance reader, and we welcome you to Just One More Page.
where it's never just one more page. Happy 2024!
Oh, yes, 2024. You know what? This is what happens when we record later in the week. I don't even remember half the other week. I'm like, wait, oh yeah, it was New Year's Day. Did you have a good New Year's?
I worked until 11:30 and I got home at 10 of midnight and my husband was up, so I was like, Happy New Year, and I gave him a kiss. He goes, It's not for 3 more minutes. I was like, I'm going to bed. Goodbye. I'm so tired. But I was super lucky over the weekend and all of my admissions got canceled. I had 3 that were supposed to come, all got canceled, and I discharged a whole bunch of people. So by 8 o'clock at night, me and my CNAs, my med aid, we were all done and we were all just sitting around. And I was reading a book and they were doing whatever. We just waited till call lights went off and did what we had to do. And it was nice and relaxing. I actually had an easy weekend for the first time in probably months.
That's nice. I had a crazy work week because I think the end of December is always very busy with the type of job I have. So I was walking a lot and running around, and I was off New Year's Eve, but I'll be honest with you, I just read all day. I finished a couple books and then I had to get up early the next day. So I was like, wow, I'm really old. The fact that I'm yeah, it's 10 o'clock, I'm going to bed. Who cares? I gotta go to bed. I gotta get up early in the morning. I don't want to suffer. Meanwhile, 10 years ago, I'd be like, let's go to the bar. It's okay. I can get up early. No.
It's not called getting old. It's called being responsible.
Oh, no, it's called being old because I can't stay awake. I'm falling asleep now. I went to bed pretty late last night because I was reading a book and I was like, oh, I can read a chapter halfway through the book. I'm like, oops. And you go to bed. My bad. I have to be up in 4 hours. I love that. Anyways.
Love that for you.
So let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. So you guys might notice that the title of this week is a little different. And usually we would, talk about a book this week, but unfortunately we're not able to talk about the book that we read. Me and Sam we read the book. We both read the book, but unfortunately we cannot talk about it because it came to our attention that the publisher that this book is under is being boycotted. And so instead of skipping a week, we decided that we could use our platform to inform other readers about the situation that's happening with St. Martin Press. And I do want to let you guys know that this is just the information we have right now. Things obviously change or there are new things that come out. So just make sure you do your own research, but this is what we have right now as of recording. So let's talk about why St. Martin Press is being boycotted by so many people in the book community. The first thing you should know is that an employee who is working under Wednesday Book Publishing, which is actually, sadly enough, Sam, one of my favorite publishing companies. I have so many books from Wednesday. I love them, but we don't love them, okay? Because an employee working under the company, unfortunately, this employee made Islamophobic statements that mostly talked about Muslims' beliefs about queerness, and they also made racist comments towards Palestine. On top of that, also influencers who were a part of the influencer program that you can be a part of were noticing that white creators were getting books more than creators of color. And this is something that a lot of people had noticed, that if a Black creator asked for books to review books and requested them, more likely than none, a white creator would get all the books that they requested. Honestly, it's really sad because you think about the fact that Wednesday Publishing Company is very diverse in the books they publish, from publishing books that are, from different cultures or different sexualities. And then they do this where they don't send the books that people request to them because of the color of their skin. And it's completely just stupid and it's wrong. And I don't like it. But this actually happened in October and nothing happened. St. Martin Press has yet to release a statement regarding what happened with an employee, regarding of how they choose who gets to request or get a ARC early. They haven't commented on anything. They're just pretty much ignoring everything. And this has gotten the book community really upset, as is understandable. So Sam is going to tell you guys what kind of boycott we are doing, because this is not a normal type of boycott.
So normally when you think of boycotts, what you're thinking of is like you're not going to go to like a certain store, or you're not going to like to consume their product, or you're just not going to be a part of the thing that's going on. So this is what's called a marketing boycott versus a consumer boycott. So the primary difference between each boycott is the person who is affected by the boycott. As this movement seeks to punish the publisher and not the author, we are participating in what's known as a marketing boycott. So what does this mean? This means that we are still buying and supporting the authors through our patronage. So we're still buying their books and we're still reading them and consuming them and everything. But what we're not doing anymore is we are not reviewing them on our platforms. We are not giving free marketing. We don't make money from this podcast. We do this completely freelance. We do this as full on amateurs. And so anything that we say is free marketing. The publisher didn't have to do any work whatsoever. And we were just like, we love this book. We love the like what it was about. We highly recommended this, blah, blah, blah. And then people go out and buy it. So we're taking away marketing from the publisher. We are not being public with our thoughts and opinions on the books, because we are trying to not necessarily prevent people from buying the books. We are just trying to kind of cut their bottom line. Where a book could have done much, much better with free market publicity, it's not getting that anymore. So this is a marketing boycott, not a consumer boycott, if that makes sense.
Also, I really do like the fact that we are not harming the writers, because it's not the writer's fault that the publishing company is doing these things that are harmful towards maybe a community that they are a part of or a community that they are writing for. So I think it's really important, like, to still support the writers, but don't support the publishing company, which is kind of weird to think about. But let's talk about how you can figure out what publishing company is under your books, because I think this is something that a lot of people actually struggle with, or if you don't know where to look for. So usually on the find the book, you can see the logo. And I think for St. Martin Press, it's like a flag. It's like a red flag. And there is different logos, because there is different imprints under each book. And I'm not going to go through each of them. Also, if you open up the book on the first page, on the bottom of like the title page, you should see it say like either like Wednesday Book Publishing Company or like St. Martin Press Publishing Company. It should say there, or else you can always turn to my favorite friend, Google, and you can look it up and you can see if it's under whatever company it is. And it takes 2 seconds to just do research. Now, if you're just reading the book, you're not going to post about it. You don't have to do too much research. You can read it. Like we said before, this is not a boycott where you can't read the book, but just be aware that if you have a platform, if you're reading a book and you're going to talk about it, you can do that little extra step and figure out what company this book is published under. Let's talk about all the different imprints that is under St. Martin's Press.
Yeah, so St. Martin's Press as a publishing company isn't the actual like publisher. They're a group of publishers. So the main ones that you're going to see under St. Martin's is obviously St. Martin's Press, Minotaur Books, Wednesday Books, St. Martin's Griffin, St. Martin's Essentials, and Castle Point Books. So those are all under the boycott umbrella because they are in the St. Martin's Press group. And like Morgan said, you're going to see the symbols on the side. So I'm a huge fantasy reader. So like the big publishing company for them is Orbit, and Orbit's like a black square with like a little moon on the inside. And so usually they're very, what's the word I'm looking for? Noticeable. Like you can recognize them when you're looking at books and stuff. So usually if you don't want to like go too far as like trying to read the copyright page, usually the spine of the book will also tell you who published the book as well. So that you can always look at that.
Yeah, exactly. Now, one of the things that you can do to help, besides like, not recommending, not talking about the books online to your followers, or even writing a review on Goodreads, is you can always email St. Martin Press. You can always send them a letter. You can always even send an email to your favorite writer who's under the publishing company and voice your concerns and talk about it. I think it's very important to not let this go by, because the big thing is the book community is a big community. At least on social media, Book Talk, at least because I do mostly TikTok, we're so big. Like a lot of times Book Talk will make a book go famous. Like look at Fourth Wing, that got a lot of hype because of TikTok or because of Instagram. As a community, we should stand up for things that we think is wrong. And I definitely am for this boycott, although I'm very sad because I love Wednesday Publishing Company. So that makes me sad.
So there's some very big key points you need to keep in mind. So this boycott has been going on since October. If people aren't big in social media, they might not know about this. People who are just breaking into book talk, they may not know about this. If it's a vlogger, a blogger, a content creator, like we need to kind of, I guess, be gentle with the community while people are still finding out about this boycott. So the best thing to do is to not assume that a creator who is advertising their reviews of a St. Martin's Press book that they already know what's going on and they're just doing it just to like skirt around it. The best thing for you to do in that situation is to inform them and not be mean about it. I know how the internet can be, and the internet has claws, and those claws hurt. So the best thing to do is to nicely explain to the person that, hey, there's this boycott going on. Here's why we're doing this boycott. Here is the reasoning behind it, how this is actually working. Here's some websites for you to check out, or like resources to look at just to get better informed, just so you're aware. Like, bring it to their attention. Don't try to tear the person down, because I've seen at least one TikToker who was like, it's such an easy thing to do. Like, I don't understand why you're not doing a blah, blah, blah. Like, you just don't talk about it. But not everybody knows what's going on. So we need to be nice to the people who don't know what's happening and just gently tell them what's going on.
So there is a person on TikTok that I did learn a ton about this online, and that is Vivia. I'm going to say her last name wrong. I do apologize. It's like Vivia Flastinline. It's like her username's LEEN and then space PS. Definitely look her up. She has a bunch of TikToks talking about the boycott, talking about why you should do it. She goes really in depth about it. And then there's also another site that also talks about it, which Sam will talk
So
about.
the other TikTok account that you could check out is Readers for Accountability. It seems like they're the ones who kind of are like the most vocal about this boycott. They're constantly posting things about what you can do and different resources that you can look up and why we're doing this and everything. So they're a really good resource as to what's kind of going on with this boycott. So I would definitely check out Readers for Accountability as well.
Okay, well, that is this episode. And I'm sorry if it's not the episode that you guys wanted. I hope you guys are informed, and I hope that we didn't bore you too much. But next week, we're going to be going back to a regular schedule, and we're going to be reading some amazing books. But if you guys would like to support our podcast, please feel free to rate us on Spotify, as it does help push our podcast out there. Remember to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, also anywhere else you can find a podcast, and Sam will tell you about the rest of our socials.
So if you think we are absolutely hilarious, which this NPR level episode is not usually us, then fun fact, my friends, we are. We do have a TikTok. It is Just One More Page podcast. And for all of the other social medias that we like, pictures we post, stories we post, just random statuses, we do have an Instagram and a Threads. It is Just One More Page official. So please go ahead and like those, check us out, come stalk us, come slide into our DMs. Happy New Year, everybody. We love you all, and we will talk to you all next Sunday.
Okay, bye everyone.